I know what you're thinking, but no, you're wrong. Neoverse Trinity Edition has nothing to do with the Matrix.
Trinity! Help!
But you should still take the red pill. Let's see why. I'm Adam Scott, and this is Neoverse. Neoverse is a roguelike card battler set in a multiverse with brutal monsters and killer vixens. Developer Tino Games has put together a surprisingly deep and addictive game with that just one more run quality. Originally released on Xbox One, mobile, and PC in 2020, it was later re-released as Neoverse Trinity Edition on PS4 and Switch in 2021. And that's the version we'll be checking out today. Despite slick trailers and an opening cinematic, there isn't much in the way of story or lore. There's something about humans discovering multiple universes that are collapsing into the dun-dun-dun Neoverse! But seriously, all you need to know is you're on the good side and you're fighting against the bad side. Okay, so very little story and even less in the way of instruction. In fact, there's no tutorial, at all. So if you like figuring things out on your own, you've come to the right game. But even with everything going on, and there is a lot, I actually found it fairly easy to jump in and pick things up. You'll progress through a series of turn-based battles where you'll have a set amount of mana per turn and a deck of cards that represent your actions, each one costing a set amount of mana to use. At the highest level, the cards represent offensive and defensive moves, as well as status effects, bonuses, and hindrances. This game is roguelike, meaning you start on a journey and keep going until you make it all the way through or are defeated, at which point you'll lose some of the stuff you've acquired and you'll have to start a fresh run. Much like your mom, decks start out relatively basic, but as you progress, you'll receive new cards, slowly building and strengthening your deck, making for increasingly interesting and engaging fights. You'll choose from 3 different characters, each playing wildly different from the others. Claire is a paladin who can use faith and punishment to heal and retaliate respectively, or can use vampiric powers to siphon life. Helena is a summoner who brings guardian animals into the fight, with a griffin that buffs armor, a red dragon that breathes fire, and a white lion that shreds fools like any good white lion should. And Naya is a brawler who unloads on enemies with guns, blades, and attrition-causing radiation attacks. Each character has the choice of an offensive, defensive, or hybrid deck, and once you've played with them enough, you can unlock a daily deck meant to add more challenge. When starting, you'll pick from the 3 game modes: Adventure, Hunter, and Challenge. In Adventure mode, you'll progress through 15 stages of increasing difficulty. Each stage offers you 3 different battles to choose from that vary in difficulty and missions. Missions are accepted once you start the fight, but can be carried over to subsequent fights until you meet their criteria. This includes things like a certain number of a specific card type, or gaining a set amount of skill points, that type of thing. By meeting the mission criteria, you'll gain rewards that are real game changers, from upgrading cards, removing cards so your deck doesn't get too bloated, skill points, healing, and more. At the end of each battle, you'll earn a handful of different rewards, like gems for stat upgrades, money to purchase items themselves, and new cards. I did find it weird that you have to select each individual reward instead of something like a claim all button. For every 5th battle, you'll fight a boss, and after completing all 15 stages, you can crank up the difficulty. And this is important for the longevity of the game, constantly pushing you to take on bigger and badder challenges. In Hunter mode, you'll battle through 20 levels, but you can't choose your path or gain missions. Instead, you have specific Hunter cards, which focus on hitting multiple enemies to start, and after every 5 fights, you can visit the black market to buy upgrades. The further you get, the more bonuses you get for your next run. Finally, there's Challenge mode, which requires you to have a saved deck that you're happy with from a completed Adventure mode run, and costs 10 trophies to attempt. This is, as you'd assume, very challenging, requiring strong preparation in order to complete. Okay, 3 characters and 3 different modes. Sounds pretty simple and straightforward, right? But it's in the execution and how everything comes together that makes Neoverse so damn fun. As you fight, you'll set up combos, precision kills, and parries. Precision kills require you to finish off an enemy with the perfect amount of damage to bring their life to 0, rewarding you with extra money. Parries are similar, where having just the right amount of armor to block an attack will stop the enemy's next turn. At the bottom of the screen are cards in a colored pattern. If you can use cards of that color in that order, you'll get a combo that doubles the damage of your next attack. Now, since each hand is drawn at random, you may not get the right ones to complete the pattern, and sometimes breaking the combo will be more important to prevent damage. There are far too many systems to cover here, and part of the fun is playing around with and figuring out what's on offer. Since this is a roguelike, some progression carries over between runs and some doesn't. You can save decks into a bank and use them between runs, which is awesome if you've acquired epic cards or have evolved cards. In-game trophies carry over, mostly allowing you to get cool cosmetics. Also, once you've unlocked new skins by completing specific requirements, you can choose them going forward. However, gems, money, and items, or anything you've acquired with them, won't carry over, so it's best not to hoard your loot. The control scheme feels suspiciously geared towards PC and mobile. You can use the D-pad to cycle through your cards and items, or you can at any time use the left analog stick, which moves a cursor around like a mouse. It's way too slow to play the whole game like this, but I found switching between the two depending on what I was doing to be very straightforward. For a lower budget game, from a relatively unknown developer in a genre that generally doesn't prioritize visuals, Neoverse is without a doubt a cut above. The characters are varied and visually interesting. While not amazingly animated, they do their job of breathing life into each fight. That, coupled with all of the flashy effects, and the whole thing feels alive. The three main characters are all attractive females with unlockable costumes that lean into fan service, with swimsuits and the like, giving you the impression that the developers weren't taking themselves all too seriously. For completionists, you'll have your work cut out for you. There are 38 trophies in all, with 23 bronze, 10 silver, 4 gold, and a platinum trophy to pick up. You'll earn quite a few by completing a certain number of things like clearing 1,000 battles or defeating 20 bosses. You'll earn others by limiting yourself, like going through a run without using any items. And of course, you'll need to clear runs with each of the characters. All in, you're looking at upwards of 80 hours to do everything. And if this game really clicks with you like it did for me, you'll welcome how much game there is on offer. Neoverse Trinity Edition is a surprisingly addictive and beefy deck-building card battling game. Without a story or clear tutorials, the developers at Tino Games put those details on you to figure out. However, I found myself really digging Neoverse from my very first run. There's something magical about a game that empowers you to experiment and try new things, often surprising you with how well it all comes together. With 3 very different characters to choose from and a mountain of systems and modes, even without Keanu, Neoverse is one of the most addictive deck builders I've played. Thank you for appeasing the YouTube gods by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And if you want another game that you haven't played, check out my video right here. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.